Hello everyone and welcome back to the latest episode of Trader Talks. Today we are going to talk about gold. It has just reached another all-time high, so we'll discuss why and we'll discuss what could happen next. As always, please do remember the disclaimer. The presentation is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as investment advice, personal recommendation or an offer of or solicitation to buy or sell any financial instruments. If you're listening via the podcast and you want to follow along as we look at the chart, do remember the link is in the bio. And if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. It does help, of course. So yeah, as I mentioned, new all-time high reached today. We're trading just under 3,000. Remarkable run that it's been on. We'll look at the chart, as I said, in a moment. It's been going higher because of safe haven demand, whether that be geopolitical risk, whether that be trade risk, whatever it is you want to think about, has helped it push higher. But in truth, it's actually a little bit unusual in that the stronger US dollar hasn't halted its progress. In fact, gold has just been on an incredible run. The broader equity market volatility that has led to this safe haven flow has really outweighed everything else. And that uncertainty around rates as well that we're seeing in the US. We don't know whether we're going to get a cut this year. And if we do, we don't know how many. Things get changed quite regularly in that department. But gold has just been on an absolute tear. Let's have a quick look then at the chart and we'll discuss all of that right now. You can see this is a chart that goes back to 2010 where we were trading under 1,000. We fast forward 15 years and it's been on an incredible run, as I said. And just zooming back out, you can see once we really broke above, let's just call it 2,100. And we really, a year ago, by the way, less than a year ago, we were trading at 2,100. So roughly speaking, from that date where we broke above 2,100, you're 40% higher. That's an incredible move for gold. It has to be said. I mean, if you go back to the lows that we saw in 2018, for us to go 40% higher, it took quite a considerable amount of time. Now, zooming in, we're on pace now for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th positive week in a row. Remarkable, really, isn't it? And when you look at it just on the 4-hour chart, you can just see the trend has been relentless. As mentioned, you can see these multiple highs when they get broken. Yes, you do get a bit of a retest, but it just keeps pushing higher and higher and higher. And in fact, just on those retests, it's quite nice, isn't it? There's a high, break, come back, go higher. There's a high, break, come back, go higher. Albeit it's not perfect every time. Of course it isn't, but it's not always going to be. Breaks, comes back, goes higher. Breaks the all-time high, come back, go higher. Breaks the all-time high, hasn't quite come back there yet, so keep an eye on 28.20 would be one of the first things I'd mention. But with any market like this, it's always worth just pointing out the psychological handle that is, in this case, 3,000. Not saying that it's going to be the all-time high, not saying it's going to be a longer-term resistance level, but you are going to have shorter-term traders that notice that and then might think, okay, well, what a great place for me to take some profit here. People would obviously be selling, getting out their positions where they bought, and that can lead to price moving lower, albeit in the shorter term, you might suspect. Other areas then to consider, and we've got this on the daily chart now, just to really bring in everything into picture. If we do get a retracement back down towards 2,800, that's obviously a level to consider. You can see here, once we broke above it, we found support there 2 days in a row and we didn't close below, so that's significant. But that is still an area I think people will consider, and rightly so. A little bit above where we're trading, we've already had sort of the break and retest above, albeit it wasn't perfect, at 28.30, another area to consider. And then also, if we do get the close literally where we're trading or a little bit higher, we therefore have broken that double top where we had from Friday and Wednesday at 28.80 on the eToro platform that you see here. So break above that, it might well be that we have a little bit of a lull, even another push higher, and then that becomes the next opportunity to get long towards 3,000. That's what some traders would be looking at. On the flip side, it might be that you are just saying this is just too high for me right now, but I don't know where to take profit or where to short. So we've already mentioned how 3,000 is obviously going to be a key psychological handle. If at one point we do trade back below 28.80, then I guess some people may be saying that is now a resistance level and an opportunity to sell to target some of those lower down levels. But as it stands right now with sentiment, how it is, and how the markets are unpredictable elsewhere, whether it be trade or geopolitical risk, gold is sitting quite nicely. So do you necessarily want to go against that trend? But those are a couple of opportunities. I think ultimately for those that are longer term long on gold, you would have to say as long as it stays above that high that we had from October, November last year, you would feel pretty confident that sentiment remains to the upside. An incredible move, it has to be said, and you know, good opportunities were available last year. You can see, look at this double bottom here, and this is the importance. Again, we talk about it quite a lot on this show about waiting for where the market closes. It looks like gold is going to finish higher, but if it actually closes below Friday's high, the market will then say, well, that's a false breakout, and then you've got to move lower potentially. But you can see going back here to November last year, really nice test. And then, of course, there has been other great opportunities. And it is also nice to see just how well respected gold is on these technical levels. We go back to 27, 25, lovely area support, breaks down resistance, comes back up, resistance again. We then break above it and then retest it. I mean, look at the significance of that level. Can we do the same in and around this area? I think people would suggest that is possible to happen. But at the moment, gold looks good, doesn't it? Let me know how you're seeing it, what you're thinking. And of course, let me know what markets or assets you would like to see next in the next episode of Trader Talk. Take care, everyone. See you next time.